Still sitting in a truck seat that's older than your favorite pair of work boots? Your back has been filing complaints for years. If your seat is worn out, sagging, or just plain uncomfortable, it's time for an upgrade. Head on over to seatspecialist.com. Check out their selection of quality replacement seats built to keep you comfortable mile after mile. And don't forget to use promo code TR10 4U to save 10% on your order. Seatspecialist.com, because a better ride starts with a better seat.
Welcome to That's Delivered, the podcast dedicated to providing insights and tips for truck drivers everywhere. I'm your host, Ray, and today we have a special guest from Above and Beyond CDL Driving Academy, Brian Hudson, who will share with us the ins and outs of training the next generation of truckers. So we're going to explore the critical role of truck driving schools, how they play an important role in preparing the new drivers that are looking to get into the trucking industry. So we're also going to hear about Brian Hudson's personal journey in the trucking industry. So wanted to get to know the school a little bit. Can you start by telling us a little bit about the history of Above and Beyond CDL and how it was founded?
Yeah, originally we share the same ownership as Upper Lakes Foods does. So Upper Lakes Foods was hiring drivers right out of school, and they realized that some of the schools weren't quite doing the training that they said that they were or that they should be doing. They'd have students that would come in, they wouldn't have the basic skills, how to couple or uncouple a tractor or trailer, how to weight out a trailer, how to drive a manual transmission. So they decided that they were going to start their own school and start training their own drivers. So we did that for a while, and they realized that that was such a success for them that they wanted to open up a driving school of their own. So in November of 2022, they hired me, brought me over here. I started writing the curriculum between November and June. And in June of 23, we were finally approved by the Department of Public Safety to operate as a school. So then we went through the certification process with the Office of Higher Education. And in January of 2024, we were approved for that. So we've been operating for a little bit less than a year.
Wow, how nice.
Yeah.
I guess that's pretty exciting for the owners. I think you mentioned how they go above and beyond for the school in itself, that they do an excellent job.
They're very committed. They're very committed to safety. They're more committed to safety than they are over profits.
Wow.
Yep.
I mean, that's a rarity.
Yes, it is.
How nice.
Yep.
So what are some of the key components of the program and the courses that your school offers?
Well, first of all, we do the mandatory entry-level driver training by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Association. So we do the 30 classroom modules plus the mandatory 7 backing maneuvers, the pre-trip, the coupling, and the driving skills. But then we actually go along way above and beyond what is required. We actually take our students, we try to get them into downtown Minneapolis or St. Paul. We try to get them into rush hour. We'll take them into southern Minnesota, where there's some really good hills that can simulate mountain driving. Basically, our whole purpose here is we want to prepare our students for a career in the truck driving industry versus just to get their license.
Right. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So give a well-rounded training program for them with the hands-on versus the simulators.
Yep, exactly.
So the school's mission and its goals, what sets Above and Beyond CDL Driving Academy apart from other training programs out there? What do you like?
First of all, our behind-the-wheel curriculum. We don't just stay within a 5-mile radius of our school. Like I said, we go into the Twin Cities area. We go down into the southern parts of of Minnesota as well. We'll go into Wisconsin, do some hills there. We take them through a scale, train them how to go through the scales. There's several different options that we can go through for different scales, like the drive-through and the stationary plates as well. We get them into the maintenance on the trucks. Basically, what we want is when our students live here, we want them to be prepared for that truck driving career rather than just having their license and then learning the rest on the fly.
Wow. I like that, especially with the scales and going into another state. You're not just going around the block.
Right.
I mean, that's super awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of schools don't do that.
No, they don't. We teach primarily in 48 and 53 foot trailers, We teach both manual and automatic transmissions. Even though most of our students will test in the manual, we still take them out in the automatic and train them how to use the automatic transmission to maximize that engine braking effect, as well as to try to maximize their fuel efficiency.
It is different.
It is. Yep.
So yeah, a lot of even the different manufacturers, their transmissions are different. Mm-hmm. So like a Volvo versus a KW.
Exactly.
I mean, it is a cool feature to know that difference,
Yeah.
Especially, I don't know if you have the older transmissions, because those...
No, thank goodness, no.
Okay.
Not the automatics.
Those guys, man. All right, so yeah, if anybody knows the early part of automatic transmissions, it was very jerky. And
it was. You'd have to push that throttle down almost halfway before the clutch would engage on those. It was really rough.
And then if they did engage at the wrong, it would do the ramming thing.
Yep, wow. Exactly. Yep, a lot of sore necks out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool. Yeah, hopefully those are almost out.
Yep.
So what are the main objectives that you aim to achieve in training new drivers? I know you mentioned some already, but can you elaborate a little more? Yeah,
safety is our biggest objective. You hear that term steering wheel holder all the time. We don't want to teach our students to be steering wheel holders. We want them to be ready to go. So when they hit that freeway, they know to create that gap to allow another truck to be able to merge in, or to watch that on-ramp as they're coming up to it, to watching for turning traffic, so that they're ready when they get down to that on-ramp, that they can merge into the truck safely.
What about people coming on? I mean, man, nobody ever does it the same.
No, nobody does. Nobody does. You'd be amazed some of the stuff we see out there, Just kind of get a little bit off topic. We had a guy that was testing yesterday, and somebody actually did a brake check on him during his CDL road test with the examiner right next to him.
Wow.
It's just unbelievable the attitude people have towards these trucks. So.
And it's getting to be a common theme more than some things that I'm looking at, focusing on. I'm hearing the people that I interview, and it's a common thing that it's pretty aggressive out there.
It can get very aggressive. It's funny because you look at the numbers of fatalities on the roadway from say 10 years ago, which was pretty much an even slow climb on fatalities until we actually hit COVID. And when COVID came, there were fewer cars on the road, but the increases in fatalities went up by double digits. So less people on the road, but more fatalities.
So somebody may not be able to look at those numbers and understand that like you can. How can you help people to understand that? So the numbers have gone up. How would you say was the reason as to why it's going up?
Less people on the roadway, meaning the roads were more wide open. So the people that were on the road could go as fast as they wanted. There were fewer police officers on the road. And their driving skills went down considerably because people aren't driving every day like they used to be. Huh. So, some people go a week and a half between driving, and then all of a sudden they're getting behind the wheel and they've lost some of their basic skills. Oh. Skills are one of those things you have to practice continually to keep them. Otherwise, if you don't practice them, they're going to get forgotten.
It's like Monday when you come into work and you had the weekend and you got to do some backing.
Exactly. Yep.
I'm a little rusty.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. Yep. If you take the weekend off, when I get in the truck, I'm like, man, a little hesitant. I got to slow down. I got to think about this. Yep. So that's another thing. People working from home. Mm-hmm. They're not commuting as much.
Yeah.
There's a lot more of those types employees out there, and then they hop in the car and they're excited to get out of the house. Maybe, I don't know.
Exactly. They get impatient. They want to get to work. Yeah.
Yeah, that really breaks it down. Because the numbers is a biometrics reading that a sampling that they take, but you actually broke it down to how people are actually doing it in their everyday life when they get out on the road. They're rusty maybe, or they got a lot of built up anxiety.
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, there's a lot of,
and it's all taken out on the road there. Wow,
yep, exactly.
That's sad. Especially with the instructor right there.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. How did he do with that? How did he deal with it?
He actually did very well.
All right.
Yeah. Nice. He handled it well. That's one of the things we go over a lot is, different emergency maneuvers that you need to make out on the roadway. And we teach our students, try to prepare yourself for anything.
Okay.
You do your traffic checks so you know what that car is going to do before it does it. Everybody gives a little telltale as if they're going to turn or if they're going to change lanes. You can usually tell before they turn on that turn signal.
Yeah, watch the tires.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
That's really cool. Thank you for helping him with that, man, and letting our listeners know, too, that you guys got your eyes on the ball.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. Now, just to kind of give an idea about you to get people to know you a little bit. So your personal experience, your journey into trucking, can you tell us about that? How did you get started in the trucking industry?
Well, actually, when I was in high school, I got my girlfriend pregnant. So that kind of shot any chance of me going to college. It's either abandon my child or take care of my child. So I started out working in a warehouse and realized there's no way I can do this for the rest of my life. So always loved driving. So I got into driving to be able to support my kid and my girlfriend at the time. And then pretty much stuck with it until probably 2014 when I started teaching at Century College. Yeah. I thought, okay, well, I want to try changing careers. So I had the knowledge in truck driving to be able to be an instructor, but I got into a different field part-time selling real estate. And after a couple of years, Century program closed down. I went into real estate full-time for less than a year, and then I realized I didn't like it as much as I thought I would. So I got back into the instructing game, went to Northwood Technical College, it was Wisconsin Indian Head Technical College at the time. Started the program there with another instructor. Did that for about 3-4 years, and then I came here.
Yeah, that was a great
started this
I liked it. I went and toured at Century College. Beautiful building, the facility there. I think you mentioned how nice it was.
It was absolutely amazing. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better building that was built for teaching.
Wow.
Yep, we had several classrooms. We had a giant shop that we could pull the trucks into. Wow. We kept our trucks overnight inside, so they're nice and warm when we got there in the morning. And then a beautiful ring road. Train them how to drive on the ring road before we even took them out on the roadway.
Yeah, when I went there, I felt like, oh man, I'm stepping up my game here.
Yep,
I didn't feel like I was like, oh, where am I?
Yep.
So you're bringing that energy. Seeing is believing. You're bringing that energy that you're experiencing to this school.
Exactly.
And I can tell when you gave me a tour and I got to look around and saw, your way of looking at things. It really comes out. So I'm glad they brought you on here. That's good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm glad they did too.
Yeah. So can you share a memorable experience or a milestone from your career as a truck driver?
Well, I've only had one major accident in my 25 years of driving, I believe it was.
Wow.
And somebody basically forced me off the road. So I totaled the truck out there. So I'm pretty proud of that record, not of the accident, but of the fact it's only one incident the entire time I drove. Second one, we were just talking about the truck rodeos. Our company did a truck rodeo, and there was some 80-some drivers for the company I worked at, and I took first place in that. So,
wow, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, that still resonates.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, they just had a truck, was that MTA? They did for all the companies in the area. That was really nice to see the drivers come out and show up, show their skills, and just have fun.
Yep.
So, rodeos are good.
Yeah, there's a lot of skills.
Good morale booster.
Yeah, it really is, honestly.
So then in the teaching aspect, what motivated you to transition from being a truck driver to become an educator? I know you mentioned some of that. Can we just maybe circle back on that one?
Yep. So actually it wasn't a great epiphany or anything like that. It was more I needed steady income while I tried a different career.
Okay.
And then after doing it for a while, I realized it was really fulfilling, teaching people a new trade, a new career. It really made me proud of what I was doing, more proud than when I was selling houses. So that's kind of why I stuck with it for a long time. And there's been some really good experiences I've had. We've taught a homeless guy. We got him his CDL. And, basically change his life forever. He can now live in a house rather than in his truck.
How'd you guys find him?
He just found us, believe it or not.
Okay.
What it was is he was getting some assistance, and part of the rules of getting the assistance was he had to try to find a way to get off of the assistance.
Right.
So he found a school, and he was going to go through the school and just basically put in the bare minimum amount of effort just to be able to keep the assistance. But we convinced him, and we dragged him kicking and screaming that this is a huge improvement for him. He could really make a difference in his life. And he eventually got behind it and put his nose to the grindstone and really succeeded well in our class, and ended up passing his test on the first try. And last I heard, he was doing over the road somewhere in Iowa.
That's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
And like, again, seeing is believing.
Yeah.
And when you see something so long in your life, it's so hard to believe that something can be better for you.
Exactly.
Not just for a group of people, but for you individually. Mm-hmm. And that's where I think a lot of people have a hard time is actually seeing themselves a part of something better.
Yep.
And, I think that's a lot of why I'm doing what I'm doing, making sure other people know that, hey, there is something out there. Trucking is still going to be here for you. It's not something that's dying.
Yep.
You look at the supply chain, that big picture, and you guys probably helped them see all of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's really good. I hope we could help more people like that.
I do too, honestly.
Yeah. So you never know.
No.
Some people may not tell you their story, and it could be something that they're dealing with internally.
Yep. We had a lady who was retirement age and had never driven anything bigger than like a little Ford Escort. And her husband had passed away, and she needed to get a job to support the household. So she came through our class and passed with flying colors. She was one of the best drivers that we've ever had go through the school.
So you said, how old was she?
Oh, she was probably late 60s.
Wow.
Yep. And I mean, I lost track of her,
Yeah.
after a couple of years, but she was working for a major company up in Duluth.
Talk about thinking you can't do something.
Exactly.
She blew that away.
She did.
Wow.
She did. And if you looked at her, you never would have thought that she was a truck driver.
Yeah.
She was that typical
This
grandmotherly
sweet lady, huh?
Yep. Sweet lady.
Wow.
Came in with the right attitude and convinced herself she could do it, and she sure did it.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. And that's another big thing for women in trucking.
Yeah.
To applaud that. In your years of doing this, how many women have you seen come through your courses?
I really don't have an exact number, but it's not nearly as many as there should be. Right. I mean, it'd be, a few here, a few there. My last class at the college, it was a 50-50 split, men and women. And,
really?
Yep. And one thing I always hear from every one of them is, can I really do this? And of course you can, but they go on the internet and they hear so many negative things that women can't do truck driving.
Really?
But I can tell you, every one of those women we put through the course, they do a phenomenal job. Their employers are more than happy to have them. And they just basically, like you said, crush it.
Wow.
Yep.
That's, like I told some individuals that were asking about it, right when you walk in the door, you brighten you're a different face.
Yeah.
You can write your own narratives that way because you're not breaking down a lot of the stereotypes that male truck drivers have of being sloppy and terrible language, and they're going to see something totally different, fresh air coming through the door.
Exactly.
So that's cool, and you witnessed that. That's really nice.
Yep.
Encourage other women to do the same. So now, do you offer any specialized training programs? Let's say, for example, hazardous materials or heavy hauling or line hauling.
Well, we do the basic truck driver training for Class A and B, Class B vehicles as well. We also do the hazardous material training for the endorsement, the entry-level driver training for the endorsement as well. We do a little bit of customized business training. Certain businesses have training needs that we can go out there and specialize in those for them. We do driver evaluations for current licensed drivers as well. Most of those are going to be for companies, but we do offer a 24-hour refresher course for people that have their CDL but have never actually used it or haven't used it in a number of years, just to try to get those skills back that they had when they got the license that they still need.
So they can get their A restriction taken off. And
their O restriction. Their
O restriction.
Yep. Their manual transmission, we could do that as well. The automatic restriction on their license.
All right. Nice.
Yep. Yeah. Basically anything with trucks, if anybody needs it, I'm sure we can somehow accommodate it.
I saw on the website that you offer a free course for prep. Was it prep testing?
Yep.
For the
CDL learner's permit.
Yes.
The preparation course.
That's
So
a nice one too.
right now it's a two-night course, Monday evenings, 5:30 to 7:30. I'd like to really combine it down to 1 3-hour course rather than 2 evenings a month.
Get your feet wet.
Yep.
Stick your big toe in there and see if you like the temperature.
Right.
I like it.
Yep.
So, in the industry, what is your insights for anything that the future may bring, like training methods or the curriculum changing over the years? Do you see anything going in that direction?
About every 5 years, it seems the training curriculum changes with the FMCSA. Right now, they do not have an hour requirement for training. It's just if you can get the requirements done in a week, you can get them done in a week. I really would like to see, and I believe they will implement a minimum training hour. The insurance industry already requires 160 hours. Most insurance companies, not all of them, but most of them requires a minimum of 160 hours of training. I would like to see that be a federal rule. I think obviously, like we've talked about before, autonomous vehicles, depending on how that ends up looking like, I believe there will be training eventually on autonomous vehicles as well. Right now it seems like the trend is going towards one person's going to be driving multiple trucks. And I believe that'll be part of a curriculum at some point, that'll be required. As far as driving simulators, yes, they can be great. Personally, I'd rather stick somebody in the truck and show them the real world versus a computer.
Yeah. I agree.
Yep.
Yeah, the autonomous vehicle does have a struggle because, on-time delivery is important.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's nobody in the truck, there's an accident or weather, what have you, it makes it very difficult. I guess I can see the investment aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
It is attractive. I'm not totally against that, but however, thinking that it will take over the entire industry, it's kind of hard to fathom.
I think that is so far in the future. I believe the technology we're already there right on the edge of it.
Wow.
But the problem is, things that you and I can tell, like, is it a safe area for us to park? Are we going to know if somebody's breaking into the trailer, right? While we're sleeping, which is a huge problem. Safe areas for us to be able to pull over and sleep. Whereas is that autonomous truck going to know the same thing?
I can feel when someone breaks a seal in the trailer.
Yeah,
53
exactly.
way in the back.
Yeah. Are they going to know geez, that's a really dark sky up ahead. Should I possibly think about finding a rest area now versus 2 hours down the road when the snow is so heavy that it's going to be very hard to find a rest area.
Yeah, some of them come out of nowhere just real fast.
Yep,
Storms,
exactly.
they may not even be a part of the forecast.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's something to really sit there and think about.
Yeah.
I think it's just a hot topic that's fun to talk about too, and to get different perspectives on it, like yourself, from a professional like you with years of experience. It's nice to hear that feedback versus just a quick video on YouTube or something.
Right.
Yeah.
You also have, each state has to be unified. Right now, you can allow it in Colorado, but maybe you might not allow it in Arizona, right? Mm-hmm. So, and they have to have the same exact technology to be able to keep those roads on the road, those trucks on the road. Are the white lines going to be the same on every state? Then you got the unions that are going to push back on it because they're going to be losing drivers if they do go autonomous. One driver for every 4 or 5 or 6 trucks, there's going to be a lot less drivers on the road. So I don't think it's going to happen anytime in the near future.
They got a lot of weeds to get through.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a good way to put it. Yep.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty cool that you have that perspective and sharing that with our listeners. Thank you so much. Kind of get wrapped up in your world. It's a pretty neat place to be when you think about it. The transportation industry needs teachers. They need people that take the lead, and you're embodying it. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, we need more people like you. How hard is it to be an instructor?
You have to be trained by a certified training school, or you have to go to a vocational technical college to get your training done. And then once you're hired by a school, you have to get licensed by the state, which is a pretty big essay type test. Then you have to go with the head of the Department of Public Safety. You have to go on a test ride with them. And once they're approved, then you have to be licensed through a public school.
Wow.
Or a school.
Yeah, that is a rarity, and that many people want to go through all that.
Right.
Where they don't even know it exists. You know.
Yep.
They just think about the CDL and driving. They think maybe I can move up in the company and get that position, but there's a lot of testing that needs to happen.
Yep.
By the state's approval.
Yep.
And you've done that work, and that's
Yep.
really great. So, how long did it take you to get that?
Well, because I had many years behind me with the technical colleges, I was exempt from a lot of it. So the only thing I'd do is the written test and the behind the wheel.
The verbal thing. And all
So usually it takes about 6 months to do it.
Huh.
We had one of our other instructors. Yeah, it took him about 6 months to get the entire training process done.
Currently.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So we're not talking like a 2-year degree.
No.
Associate's. Okay.
No.
Nice.
No, because we were a licensed school, we were able to do our own training for our own instructors.
So is it better that someone comes here and talk with you about it versus trying to pursue it themselves alone?
Yeah, because you can't be licensed unless you're actually part of a truck driving school.
Nice tip.
Yeah.
You know, maybe people will not waste so much time and maybe focus on what they want.
Right.
That's kind of cool.
Yep.
To know that. Thank you. Any advice for inspiring truck drivers? Any tips that you would want to give to share with someone that's choosing to drive a truck or to either what school to go to? What would you say to them?
Well, obviously, you go to my school, above and beyond, the best. Actually, I recommend that you really interview the school that you're going to. Find out, what kind of training to do. Is the majority of it going to be in the yard, backing and doing basic skills? How far away from the school do you get to drive? I mean, realistically, yeah, it's great staying within 5 miles of the school that you're going to, but are you getting all different kinds of traffic? Are you getting all kinds of different road scenarios, staying that close to the school? How many miles are you going to be driving a day? What's the instructor to student ratio? Is it a situation where they put you out in the yard with a truck and you basically have to teach yourself how to back, or is the instructor going to be right there alongside of you telling you, okay, watch what your trailer does when you turn it to the right, watch what it does when you turn it to the left? It just all depends on the interaction with the instructor, but come to school, no matter where you go, with the right attitude. You're there to learn. You're not there to show the instructor that you know what's going on. Once you start that school, don't, please, and I'm not trying to downplay the internet, but don't watch YouTube videos. Really? We spend so much time arguing YouTube videos in our classes.
Really?
Yes, because they'll teach them watch for landmarks or watch for certain marks on the trailer, and then you turn your wheel a certain way when you're backing up. Well, that's not really going to help you in the real world, because you're going to be driving different length trailers. You're going to be driving different types of vehicles. And when you're backing up, you're not always going to have that different colored rock or that red mark on the pavement.
Yeah.
You're
right.
It can be one of the most frustrating parts of my job is when somebody watches a YouTube video.
Wow.
Yep.
And you would think that would be easing someone's fear, like, can I do this before I spend the money?
Yep.
And then...
Oh, that's fine to get you in the right mindset. But once you're in class, those YouTube videos, a lot of times, are really wrong.
Yeah, I remember seeing a FedEx driver do a video where he put a set together with the dolly behind the front box, and that's a cowboy move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought that's how you do it. And they're like, oh, yeah, I just clicked it right in. And it's looking back, I'm like, wow, that was, that's showing off more so than actually doing the correct way.
Yep. But basically just come in with the mindset that you can do it. If people come in, if our students come in and they believe they can get it done, 9 times out of 10, they'll be ready in a lot quicker time than someone who comes in thinking that they can't do it. And I'll tell you the truth. I mean, if you believe you can do it.
And that's the challenge. Yep. I don't think that goes away.
No.
Yeah, because, like I said, Monday, You've been driving your passenger car all weekend, and then you come to work, and the semi truck is much taller, bigger when you look at it from your eyes. But then when you get inside, you actually turn the key, things start to change.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already harder to get to work for people that don't drive a truck. So you're getting to work, and then you're overcoming something that's larger than you and most things.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, that's really, really neat that that same thing that they're starting with, that feeling when they're starting school, is something they're going to deal with currently throughout their whole career.
Yep.
Yeah, how nice.
But you've been driving for years. You can admit that after you drive these for a while, it starts to just become second nature.
Yeah, 5 feet as I move it is like I'm good to go.
Yep, exactly.
And then the trailer in the mirror is really as small as it is in the mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you stand beside it, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
I just drove that through a snowstorm.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's something to think about. That's something that I guess a lot of younger people coming out of school, maybe that's a lot for them to fathom, that they can do it. If they can get over that hurdle and really think about, say, hey, I can make something for myself. I just got to get over that fear. Because I talk to people when I'm out there driving. They're like, how do you do it? And I'm like, yeah, you can do it.
Yeah.
Come on over. No, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. And I'm like, wow.
Yep.
I wonder what I could say to make them feel like they could do it. And I never can think of the right thing to say at that moment.
Yep.
Just keep trying to tell them, yeah, we need you.
Yeah. Well, we have visitors come to the school, and occasionally if they're really doubting if they can do it, I'll put them in the truck and have them back up straight across the parking lot and just walk alongside the truck and tell them, okay, turn it right, turn it left, turn it right, turn it left. And they get done backing, and their whole attitude has changed.
Yeah.
I can do this. I really can.
That's the key.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep,
You're the guy, man. That's pretty slick how you do that.
I try.
You don't mind taking those risks.
Nope.
Yeah, I know some trucks are at the state fair, and you can kind of get them as a display. But, the moving part, that's nice.
Yeah.
The feel.
Yep.
Yeah, that fortitude, that driver fortitude is something that you have that just grows within you, and that's something you can foster with good habits and keep it alive. So that's really cool.
Yep.
Let's kind of wrap things up. We've discussed a critical role in truck driving schools, the evolution of training programs, the tips for inspiring drivers to be able to go out on the road and do what they do each day. Do you have any final pieces of advice or insights for listeners that you want to share with them, just to close with?
Just like Henry Ford said, if you believe you can do it, you're usually right.
Nice and simple.
Yep.
Right, and he did a lot.
Yes, he did.
So that's really good.
Yep.
So the call for action is for those that are interested in a career in trucking. We encourage you to explore your options and consider training at Above and Beyond CDL Driving Academy. To find more information, just go to their website. It's a great website, easy to navigate through, Above and Beyond CDL.com. So that's just like it sounds, Above and Beyond CDL.com. No symbols or anything like that. So it's just spelled out. Real easy to find on the internet. You just Google search. Locally right here in the Twin Cities area, south of the cities, in Northfield. So thank you so much for taking this time with us, Brian. Brian Hudson is joining us today, and we thank you for our listeners for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube for more tips and updates, and we'll see you next time when That's Delivered.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Are you a trucker looking for a safe and reliable place to park? Look no further than Truck Parking Club. With locations across the country, we've got the perfect spot waiting for you, whether it's daily or long-term parking. And right now, use promo code DELIVERED at checkout for an exclusive discount. Reserve your spot today at truckparkingclub.com and drive stress-free, knowing your parking is covered.